जी की जय। श्री बाबा आशुतोष शांबे जी महाराज की जय। श्री आशुतोष भगवान की जय। सच्चे दरबार की जय. Hello, my brothers and sisters. Today I want to talk to you about the role of a perfect master, of a guru. So the term guru in our Guru Bani, it says Gu andhera jane, ru kahe prakash, mite agyanam gyan se Guru naam hai tas. That the meaning of the word guru comes from two aspects. Gu meaning andhera, ignorance, darkness, and ru meaning prakash, light, wisdom. And when a guru takes you from ignorance to wisdom, from darkness to light. So the role of a guru, the role of a perfect master, is to guide us, to embody the principles and these teachings, and to help us on our own spiritual path. In this path that we each take, we are each seeking to learn about who we are, why we're here, to better understand ourselves and free ourselves of the bondage that we're in. And our scriptures talk about the role of a guru, of a teacher, of a perfect master in this. That such perfect masters have come onto this land multiple times. They came in the form of Jesus, they came in the form of Mahatma Buddha, they came in the form of Sri Krishna or Sri Ram, in the form of Guru Nanak or Guru Gobind Singh, even to the more recent times of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, or Yoganam Paramahansa, or Charan Singh, that they've come multiple times. And these gurus have come to guide mankind towards their spiritual journey, to ascend from this limited, bound, physical nature to that infinite divine nature. And that's the role of a guru. They said, Guru Gobind do kare, kaki lagu bhai, barihari Guru apte Gobindi malai. That if Guru, my perfect master, and God himself was standing before me, I'd first bow down to my Guru. Because it's only through my Guru, only through my perfect master, that I was able to meet Gobind, meet God, the incarnate, the Almighty. So this is the role of a perfect master, is to help you, to guide you, and help you meet that divine, that incarnate, infinite, Almighty. And that is the role of a perfect master, of a guru. The tricky thing is that such a guru are so hard to find. It's not simply a story of now. In all times, in all eras, there have been many, many fakes, and very rare, very difficult has it been to find a true guru, somebody who is truly connected with that infinite divine, who is truly an embodiment of those principles, who has the ability to guide his disciples on that true path. And this is why our teachers, the past gurus who've come, have again and again tried to teach mankind how we should choose a guru, how we should understand the role of a guru. Because a guru is not a human being. They are not physical, they come in a human form, but they are not bound in the way that we are bound. When we hear the story of Krishna, Krishna says that I am here, but I was not born in the same way. I have, through my yoga, through my powers, have taken form to guide mankind, but I am not of this world. I am not bound in this cycle of life and death. In the same way, when Mata Parvati asks Shiv that why do you not have this mala, why do you not have these reincarnations? This is because I am Amal, I am forever, I do not live or do not die. I have taken form, but I am not bound to this. And that's why a guru is such a divine thing. And all who've come have had to do a guru. Jesus had to go to John the Baptist. Shri Krishna had to go to Durvasa Rishi. Shri Ram had to go to Vashisht. Swami Vivekananda had to go to Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Any person who's come has had a guru. Even Mahatma Buddha had to go to Mata Sujata. his guru at that time to get this wisdom, to get this connection with that divine. So in the same way, we also have to find such a perfect master. We too have to follow in the teachings of those who have come before us and find such a perfect master to guide us on the spiritual path. And this perfect master will, if they are true, if they are a true teacher, true perfect master, they will meet you, they will guide you, and they will show the divine within yourself. That is the litmus test. That is the way that we can assure ourselves that this is a divine master, this is a perfect master. Perfect masters come in all different shapes and sizes. If you talk to Sikh gurus, the 10 gurus that came, they range in their age, they range in their look, they range in their caste. If you look at Guru Amar Das, the third Sikh guru, he was a very old man when he became guru, at the tender ages of 70. Whereas if you look at younger gurus like Guru Harkrishan, he was very young, almost in his teens when he became guru. So this is the question, is how can you identify guru on a physical aspect? Then some people try to understand, look at gurus by their popularity. Now there are so many gurus. If you search online, you'll find gurus who are on big stages, gurus who have huge amount of audiences, big ashrams all over, a huge global appeal. But this global appeal doesn't signify they are a perfect master. These outside things do not signify that they are a perfect master. A perfect master cannot be identified by worldly measures, because somebody who's connected to the infinite, to that divine, cannot be labeled by finite measures, not by how much money they have, not by how many disciples they have. What are they measured by? They're measured by their connection with that divine and their ability to connect us with that divine. That is the true testament of a perfect master. When Swami Vivekananda went in search for his perfect master, went in search for his guru, he went to multiple gurus, and to each guru he asked that, have you seen God? Have you connected with that God? Do you know that Almighty? And can you show him to me? He went to over 50 gurus, each giving him different teachings, different principles, but nobody had connected with that divine and no one was able to show him. It was only when he went to the abode of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa and asked that question, that have you seen God? That Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa says that, yes, I have seen God. I have seen God and I can show you God. And when he showed Swami Vivekananda God within himself, that Swami Vivekananda then understood the reality of a guru, that a guru who had shown him that incarnate, that divine entity that is everywhere within him. And then he went on his teachings of his guru. He followed what Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa wanted him to do, and he led a perfect life, an example of what a disciple should do, and gave this message out to the wider Western audience. So this is the example of what a perfect master does. If you look at the story of Mahatma Buddha, now Buddha went to 2 gurus. There goes the story that he went to one guru in his search for answers. That's that he spent some time with that guru, followed his teachings, but did not receive that divine audience, did not receive that connection with God. So he went to a different guru. There he follows the guru's teachings, listened, tried to meditate, but again he did not get that connection with the divine, so he carried on. He went and tried various methods through going into hot temperatures, into cold temperature, in not eating, tried to do so many physical demanding activities to try and awaken that spiritual energy inside of himself. But that did not work. And it was only when Mata Sujata comes into his life, guides him on this middle path, that you shouldn't try to be so brittle that you'll break, and neither be so loose that you'll have no motion. You have to be balanced. You have to go in the middle path. And then she's the one who gave him divine knowledge. She's the one who guided him to that path which he meditated and obtained Buddhahood. In the same way, we need to find that guru, that perfect master, who will give us that middle path, give us that pathway towards God. Because there are multiple gurus, there are multiple people who have the status, who look the part, but they have not that connection with the divine, and they cannot give you that connection to the divine. And that is the problem that we have nowadays, is that we don't know who the teachers are. So you have two things. You have some who take anybody to be guru. Anybody who seems like they're a good fit, they will make guru. And then you have the other who do not understand the value of guru, so they don't look for guru. They either think that they can do it themselves, or they do not even go searching for the divine. But the truth is that there is always a perfect master. There's always a guru here on this earth. And whoever goes searching for him, they find him. When Dhruv went searching for guru, he found him. When Swami Vivekananda went searching, he found him. And in the Bible, Jesus says this: ask and you'll be answered, knock and the door will be open to you. That whoever looks for him, whoever searches for him, they will find him. But we have to look for him, we have to make that attention, and we have to look with him, but in the right way. We have to ask the right questions. That a guru is not defined by these outward measures. They are defined by their spiritual connection and their ability to enable us to have our own spiritual experiences. They say that मैं सुखी सुख पाया गुरु अंतर शब्द बसाया पुरख दिखालिया ताकि मस्तिष्क हाथ जियो. Then the Guru Bani says that when I met that guru, what did they do? They put that shabd, that name of God, that word, they awakened it within me. And they showed me that divine, that God, by putting their hand on my forehead, opening that third eye, that single eye, by which I was able to see God's divine light form. And this is in all scriptures, in all places. In the Bible, it says, if I be single, if my whole body be full of light. If you look at Buddhism, Buddha has a crystal in this place. Why? If you go into the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna explains to Arjuna that not with these external eyes can you see my divine form. My divine form can only be seen by that Divchakshu, that divine eye, which is right here. And this is why a perfect master comes, to awaken your own divine nature within you, so that you can go on this path. A guru does not ask you to follow and simply do what they tell you to do blindly. They guide you so that you can be a more complete version of yourself. My own experience in finding a guru is that when I found my guru, Shri Baba Ashutosh Shambhaji Maharaj, when I found a perfect master, when I saw that divine light within myself, then my guru didn't simply tell me that this is what you have to do. My guru guided me for me to find my own answers through my meditations, through going inwards. My guru taught me things, and when I practiced them, when I implemented his teachings, I saw the benefits in my own life. That is what a guru does. A guru lifts their disciples. And the problem is that there are a lot of people that take the name of guru. When we went to Kumbh Mela in Prayagraj this year, it was a huge festival where there were thousands of gurus, all from all over India. They'd all gathered, all looking very, very, wise in their very, very kind of beautiful clothing with all their disciples. But in all of those thousands, none of them had seen God. None of them had connected with God. All of them, what did they have? They had outward knowledge. They'd read scriptures. They had looked the part. They would do these outside rituals. But that inwards path, that inwards connection, they did not have. And this is the problem these days. There are thousands of so-called gurus, but a true guru, that perfect master, they are rare. They're difficult to find, but they are there. They are there, they can be found, and finding that guru, then your path becomes simple because they then become your guide, become your teacher. When we see the story of Mahatma Buddha, how much he struggled and struggled and struggled to find the right path. But once he found that right path, then he could sit and meditate. Then he knew what he needed to do. Before that, he was just trying anything that he could try to try and connect with God. In the same way, we are all trying our various ways to try and connect, but they're all failing because we don't have that perfect master, that living, breathing master. Some people talk about Jesus being my perfect master, my guru. Some people talk about the Holy Spirit being my master, my guru. Some people talk about those like Sri Krishna or Sri Ram or Hanuman as being my guru. But a guru has to be living and breathing. A guru has to be there. A guru has to be able to talk to you. A guru has to be somebody that you can talk to. Because if they are not there, if they're not able to talk to, then how can you reach that divine? The reason that the divine takes form in a human body is so that we can talk to him, so that we can understand him, so that they can guide us. If they didn't come in a human form, how would we connect with the divine? Can we read in a book enough knowledge that we can connect with the divine? Does reading a book equate to actual practice? Does somebody who has read multiple cookbooks qualify to be a good cook? Does somebody who has read multiple football magazines equate to be a good footballer? In the same way, somebody who has read multiple scriptures, are they somebody who's connected with God? And us reading scriptures, does that mean that we are connected with God? There is theory and there's practice. There is the reading, there's the literature, and there's the actual living, breathing, experiencing what is written in those scriptures. And this is the difference. This is where a perfect master has to be a living, breathing, perfect master. And there has been issues I've noticed where you have such people who call themselves gurus and do heinous things because they believe that in their own ego that they are perfect. But a perfect master isn't somebody who simply believes that they are perfect. It's not by their words. A perfect master who is truly connected will show you God within yourself. When the guru put their hand on my head, when that inner light was awakened and I saw it within myself, then I knew that I'd found a perfect master. And then that trust grew day by day, as I meditated, as my guru guided me on the various stages on this path. Because seeing that divine light within yourself is not the be-all of this path, it is the start. It is the start to know where I need to go, what I need to do. But the journey then begins, because then you must practice. And that is the role of a guru. Guru is a guide. Guru is somebody who lifts you away from your ignorance. And what are we living is in ignorance. We are all trying to connect with God in our own different ways. All the ways that suit us. All the ways that seem sensible to us. And everybody's practicing it in different ways. And what do we say? It's fine, they do what they do, we do what we do, and it's all okay. But what does God want? When the spiritual leaders, the perfect masters came, they talked about knowing God, seeing God, loving God. But we can't say we do that. We believe in God, we want to know God, but we don't know him. We've not seen him. But when you find a perfect master, a guru, they show you God. And that is when your life changes. That is when you'll suddenly know what I need to do. Then you can do the practice. Then, like Mahatma Buddha meditated on hours and days on end to finally bridge that gap, that ignorance that he was in, to lift it and connect completely with the divine, can begin. But he had that path. He had that guru, he had that teacher. And people don't understand this aspect of the story But it wasn't like Mahatma Buddha suddenly just decided, I'm going to sit under a tree and meditate for 40 days. Because if it was that easy, then why don't any of us do this? We can all just go underneath a tree and meditate and just say, I'm not going to get up for 40 days until I have aware of myself. He actually practiced. His practice, his guru got him to meditate for an hour, then 2 hours, slowly increased his endurance, his capacity, so that he could eventually reach this stage. In the same way as my gurus increased my capacity. When I first got this divine knowledge, I found it difficult to sit. I found sitting for 10 minutes, half an hour, a struggle, struggling to control my mind, struggling to practice that divine technique. But as my guru guided me, showed me, explained to me how I could sit straighter, as I could focus better, ways that I could deal with certain things that arose inside of me, I was able to sit longer. So my guru helped me through those stages, through this process of questions, that I could ask my guru, how do I do this? Why is this happening to me? What am I experiencing? And then my guru guided me and taught me, and I was able to meditate longer, deeper, practice things in a more controlled and rigorous way. So this is the role of a perfect master, of a guru. They show that divine light within yourself, and then they guide you on this path. And they have to be in physical form. And you shouldn't choose a guru until they have shown you that divine light within themselves. Until they have proven that they are a perfect master, you shouldn't just take them blindly. The mistakes that have been made in the past is that we have chosen gurus blindly. We've followed gurus blindly. We say that this person seems great, he seems very wise, and they've just followed whatever that guru's taught them. But our teachers have said, no, find that guru who can show you that divine light within yourself. And when they show you that divine light within you, then you know. And this isn't some new science, this is a new practice. Jesus said God is light. He said, if thy eye be single, thy whole body be full of light. Meaning that when that eye is open, when that light is seen, then you will know. He told Nicodemus, you have to be reborn in spirit and water, not some outside water, not some outside spirit, that divine internal spirit, that eternal light and that eternal water. That is what you need. And in the same way as we all need that baptism, but not some external baptism, that internal baptism. We need that internal divine knowledge, and that can only be given by a perfect master. There have been many who have come on this path, many who have attained great wise knowledge, but they only until they had a perfect master in life were they able to fully connect. When you hear the stories of Baba Frid, now Baba Frid went into the jungle determined to meditate, to reach enlightenment. He had meditated for such a long period of time, and as he was meditating, he started hearing the birds making lots of noise in the jungle, and in his frustration, he said, birds die. And all the birds died. And then he was like, what have I done? In my words, in my hasteness, these birds died. So what did he say? He said, birds live. And all the birds lived. And in his mind, what happened? He thought, I have achieved such greatness, such powers through my meditation, through my practice. And what happened? Ego came into him. He hadn't connected with the divine. Because you do these practices, you can obtain powers. But he hadn't connected with God. Because one who is connected with God, they will have no ego. Because one who's connected with God goes beyond ego, beyond ignorance. Because ego is ignorance. And then later when he gets up, he walks to a well. And a girl is there pouring water from the well. He says, give me water. And the woman doesn't say anything. He gets angry. And he says, do you not know who I am? His ego gets awakened. And she says to him, I am not a bird that you can simply say what you want and I will die, or say what you want, I'll live. And he gets shaken because she's like, how did she know? How does she know what I did? And then she explains to him that a perfect master, perfect meditation is not these external things. A perfect guru teaches you how to go inwards And then he went to a perfect master and obtained that divine technique. So this is the thing, is that these external meditations, they might give you temporary peace. They might even give you powers, but they will not give you that connection with that divine. That can only come from a perfect master who is perfectly connected. And that's why we need such a perfect master. And that's why for us to go on this path, we have to fully surrender ourselves to what our Guru wants. Once they have shown you that light, once they have connected you with that divine, then they are your Guru, you are their disciple. Then it's through their teachings, through their guidance, that you will be able to reach your goal. Things that would have been difficult, things that would have been almost impossible, Guru makes it possible. Things that we ourselves did not have the ability to do, Guru helps us do it. And this is why a Guru is so important for the whole journey of a disciple. From their awakening, from their seeing that divine light, from their practicing of their meditation, from their discipline of their own mind, to eventually connect completely with that divine. And this is the journey that I am on. This is the journey that we each must go on, because this human body has been given for us to connect with God. And until we find such a teacher, we cannot connect with that Guru, with that God, with that Almighty. Even Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he had this ability that whenever he called the Divine Mother, Ma Kali would appear before him. And he would be able to talk to her, he would be able to spend time with her. And after years of this practice, and Ma Kali would appear before her, then a Guru comes to him and says to him that, hey, do you not wish to meet that Ma Kali within yourself? Do you not want to see her divine form, her light form? And there he gets confused, because he thought he'd already was connected. He thought he'd already obtained enlightenment, because obviously he was getting the divine audience of the Divine Mother. So he says that before I decide anything, I have to talk to my mother. So he goes to the temple, prays. Ma Kali comes before him, and he asks Ma Kali, he says, Ma Kali, somebody's come, some Guru has come and says that I have to obtain this divine knowledge. I have to see your divine light form within myself. And then Ma Kali explains to him that, yes, indeed, this is the Guru that you need to go to. Without such a Guru, you cannot obtain enlightenment. Now he asks, like, if I see you, if you appear before me, then what is the need of such a Guru? And he said that you still bound, you still see me in this physical aspect. You still see me in this physical shape, but I am not. I am divine, I am beyond shape, I'm beyond form. And that you can only see through a perfect master. And then he goes to the abode of Guru Totapuri, gets that divine knowledge and practices that meditation. The same story of Mirabai, the same story of Namdev, that all of these, even those have had these divine experiences. Many of you watching this may have had your own divine experiences. You may have seen light, you may have heard voices, you may have felt peace, you may have experienced these things for temporary moments and no explanation of how it happened. Some moment you had this divine experience, but you don't know how and you can't repeat it. You might have had this divine experience and then somehow you can't seem to get that experience again. Those were fleeting glimpses that the divine gave you to pull you towards him, to give you that urge, that motivation to search for him. But until that third eye is open, until you have that divine light, you cannot be still in it. You cannot be absorbed perfectly in that peace. And that is why a perfect master comes. And some people say, why do I need a perfect master? Why can I not do it on my own? Why do I need a teacher to do this? The problem is that God is that infinite, that divine, and we are limited selves. Without a bridge, without somebody who can increase our levels to connect with him, how is our finite nature, how our finite being able to connect with the infinite? How is that possible? There needs to be a bridge. And that bridge has to be somebody who we can talk to. If the incarnate divine light came before you, how would you be able to understand it? How you would be able to comprehend it? How would you be able to relate to it? You would just frighten yourself. But when he comes in the form of a human, when he comes in the form of somebody you can talk to, who seems so normal, then you can learn from them, you can understand them. And then as you go on this path, you understand that who you thought was so ordinary, who you thought was just a human being, was that divine. And that is why disciples who have gone on this path have understood that my Guru is no normal person, that my Guru is actually that infinite divine incarnate. In the same way is that when you have that divine audience from your inside yourself, you see that divine light within yourself, and you have that practice of meditation where you can see God's incarnate divine form anytime that you wish to, then you start to understand the role of a Guru. And as you start talking to your Guru, as you, internally and externally, then Guru helps you on that path, clears away your ignorance, and slowly you go on this path. So this is why a Guru is so important, because without a Guru, we cannot connect with God. And without a Guru, we cannot go on this path. And this Guru cannot be defined by these external features, by their looks, by their speech, by their status, by the disciples they have. This is not a measure of a Guru. A Guru can only be proved, only be known by giving you that divine light, the divine incarnate form of God to be seen inside. Only that God who can show you that divine eye is a perfect master. Only they can be called a Guru. Everybody else can have wise words, they can give you good teachings, but they are not Guru. Guru is only one who can connect you inwards to that divine within yourself. And that's what I implore you, is to find such a perfect master, such a perfect Guru. I have been fortunate, blessed that I have found such a perfect master, Sri Baba Ashtadhyayi Swami Maharaj, who has shown me that divine light, who day by day has helped me on this path of spirituality. And in the same way, you have to find such a perfect master and ask them that simple question: have you seen God? Can you show me God? And when they've shown you that divine light within yourself, then say that you are my Guru, I am your disciple. And then that journey begins. And I wish you all the best in your own search, in your own discovery of who you are, and to see that divine light within yourself and know your true purpose. Here I will rest my words. But Shri Master Shamni Ji ki Jai. Shri Baba Ashtadhyayi Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Ashtadhyayi Bhagwan ki Jai. Sache Darbar ki Jai.